Is that okay?
Please talk about it. Talk about it too.
Okay, cool. So,
Because I don't think like and maybe this is my bad. I should have let the viewers know that you not just you started your on with your undergrad when you came into United States. Then you also had your masters then. So in case you just skip to this part, Mariam actually did her undergrad, then did a masters all together in the United States too. So sorry about that. That I didn't share that information beforehand. So continue, Mariam.
thank you. Yeah, and so after my internship at Porsche, I realized that I didn't want to do any more accounting because it was in accounts payable. It was a lot
Oh,
of paperwork, like literally, people send like invoices. You have to enter them in a SAP. And it's a lot of paperwork. Like every week we have to pay we had to pay suppliers, and you have to arrange all of those invoices by order. It was a lot of work. I think I learned, for some extent I learned. However, it wasn't for me. And then that's
yeah,
when I started to think about what I would do next. As an international student, you don't have that many options. When you finish your OPT, you either go back to
yeah,
school or you go back home, or maybe
yeah.
you get married. I don't know, but I mean,
Yeah.
there were not too many.
Or you go for your master's or PhD, I
Oh
guess.
yeah, yeah, but that's why I say you go back to school. But yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, of course, I wanted to go back to school because I don't want to go home with my bachelor. I wanted to go back to
Yeah.
school. So which
Mm.
that's what I've done. And the way I chose my school again, it was based on what I wanted to do, and also I did not want to pay for my grad school. So that's also
Mm.
you need to know what you want. For me, I felt like my dad had spent a lot on me for my undergrad. So for my
Yeah.
master's degree, I wanted to find a school who could offer me either full scholarship or full assistantship. So that's what I was
Yeah.
looking for. And yeah, and so I went back to my undergrad school, but I was able to get a full time teaching assistantship. Well, I know I said
Wow,
full
that's good.
time, but it's not like 40 hours. It's just 20 hours.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Which is not bad. Which is not bad.
Mhm.
But the yeah, did that kind of help reduce your tuition fee as well too?
I think it's really good. I mean, again, it's like as you are getting your master's degree, you also get to do to learn something new. For me, it was like what kind of teaching, because I know some people don't do a lot as assistant, but for me, I had to go every week and then do some sort of lecture. It was only like once a week, but I think that also helped me with my English and all that. And it was very, it was kind of, I was kind of scared, because I was
Oh,
like, I'm talking to like American students, so with my accent, like I don't know how they're gonna, see this, but it all worked out for
yeah.
me. And I would say that's one reason why I went back to my school. Also for my program. So I wanted to choose something that I could learn. I did not want to do like, let's say, my MS in finance, because I knew that I've taken class in finance and I know finance, so I wanted something that would involve more learning for me. And that's
Okay.
when I went back to Georgia State to do my master's in quantitative risk analysis. And I
That's
would
good.
say everything was different, like compared to my undergrad, because now I knew that, okay, to find a job you cannot just start like I don't know, when you're almost done you need to start early. When I started my master, I during my first semester I started to think about what job I wanted to do. I started to think about, okay, what should I do differently, because this time I made mistake the first time, so this time I had to learn from those mistakes and do better. And
Hmm.
basically, one thing that I've done differently was networking. Like,
Okay.
I was going to conferences, I was going to events,
Great.
I also was using what's the name, LinkedIn a lot. So
LinkedIn.
I would do like coffee chat with people. I will I will send
Wow.
people like DMs without knowing them. So I even like have my customized like like a little message I send to people. You know, hi, my
That's
name is
great.
Dad. I do this, and I think
Yeah.
by doing that, I was able to just get myself out there. I was able to get to know people, and I was able to just let that shyness go again, and just
Wow.
go after my goal, which was to get a job before I finish my master's. And I think that's what I have to say this. It's very important to do goal setting, because when you set
Yeah.
your mind to something, like every day you would think about it at some point. And for me, I was like, I do not want to finish my master's without a job. And I remember I have
Mm.
a friend, I saw him getting like a full-time offer like a few months before he finished his master's. So I was like, well,
Ah.
it's possible for us. I mean, I think it's possible. And that definitely made me believe that I could get something before I finished if I started early. So I know it's a long, but it was a long story,
No, no,
but
yeah, it's fine. Like I like the fact the way you dig deep into your masters, I got into your masters. Talking about your like things you did different at this time around because you know what's at stake right now, and I'm glad you're able to share this out. And I think these are the information that people out there need to know because just like you said, you need to just put yourself out there, try to figure out what's best for you and how you can able to make the best use of the situation. Especially for people coming in as undergrads, yeah, like you don't have much time. But one thing you can do is to go back to your masters and use your masters to gain a better leverage. Be in the right places, go to the right places, join the right organizations, and network or LinkedIn, just like you said, is really great, will really help you, will really put you out there, will help you to discover yourself. And the last thing you also said were about goal setting. Like I really love goal setting. I did have a goal setting when I came here into this country, and the ultimate goal was like before I end my master's degree, because I came in directly for my master's degree, and I said before I end my master's degree, I want to have multiple job offers, because
wow.
I was able to see different people having multiple job offers, and I was able to get multiple job offers, and it was really challenging, picking and saying that and I was still interviewing other companies, and I had to like tell some other companies like, hey, I can't go on because of some certain things, like
That's
you
so
know
sweet.
all those things are really good, and they really help you to put your mind in better perspective. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, congrats. Like, I wish I gotten like multiple. Like, honestly, I also wanted to get multiple offers, but I mean, it was really hard.
I want you to share with us how you were able to
Can I
get
say
your
one
Bank
thing
of
before?
America. Yeah, yeah, that's
So
fine. That's
I
fine.
forgot to say this, but even like last when I was in my master's degree, I also went to other school career fairs. So that's like a tip for anybody. If you feel like you want to get more
Yeah,
exposure,
yeah,
go to other school career fair and then get those
yeah.
business cards.
Yeah, yeah. I have a couple of friends that did that, like went to different schools. Like, I know some of the international students I know, like I call them hustlers. They were going from one, program to another. They went to Nesby. They went to different
That's nice.
programs to get different career fairs. And Nesby, I got my first internship 7 months when I came into the United States through Nesby program. I went to Nesby, my very first Nesby, and I got my job. I got my internship at Cummins, and it was really great. I enjoyed the internship a lot. I met cool people, new people, amazing. So I totally agree with you. Like, don't put your head in just one basket. Go for
Yep.
it. Stretch yourself a little bit, because at the end of the day, when you're looking back, you'll be grateful that you did make
Right.
those moves. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I wanted to just talk about how you were able to get that Bank of America offer. But before you talk about that, I also want you to, in a way of rounding up, kind of, I want you to also talk about how those rejections really shaped you to, continue to not give up and even if maybe at some point you gave up, I want you to talk about those moments you actually kind of thought like maybe thinking of probably going back home, and now you're able to overcome those challenges, and also now finally talk about how you got your Bank of America job.
Yeah, sure. I think rejection, honestly, now I speak of them and I'm smiling. You probably gonna think, oh, this girl, she probably didn't get rejected at all. Oh, nope.
Yeah.
This is not true. I got rejected so many times. Like, I would go to conferences and then I would ask people, like, do you ever get rejected? Because I couldn't believe that was only happening to me. Like, I was like, I remember my first ever job rejection. It was, with a big company. And so for me, I made it into the final round interview. And so I did a good job, for the first one. So in my mind, I was like, listen, I got this. So I remember I went there and then I reviewed my resume a little bit. I did some review also of the finance terms. But I remember I didn't do a lot of preparation for the behavioral type question. And I went there, it was like a 3-round interview, 45 each. And I have to say that, wow, this remained my worst interview ever. Because I remember these people would ask me questions and then I would say this, can I have more time, please? Because I didn't know what to say, so I had to come up with a lie or something because I had to answer anyway, right? And I wasn't prepared, I never knew that in the US, when you go to the final interview, you have to know all of this, give me a time you did this, da-da-da-da-da. And no, I wasn't ready. And I remember I got so many rejection. When I was in my undergrad, I was close to burning out because I was working at the cafeteria. I was involved on campus. And during my last year, I started to study GMAT. And it was a lot going on. And again, the rejection. I mean, there was so many times I felt like, well, maybe I have to go back home. Like, even when I finished my undergrad, I was doing that unpaid internship, and then I was receiving, again, more rejection. But I would say that rejection, they make you stronger. Because, of course, it hurts. But if you know what you are after, you keep going. So, let's say for my master's degree, again, I received rejection because I think as long as you are on this earth, you will always receive rejection. Also, I skipped one thing. For my first rejection, I had to cry for 3 days because that's how much I was so sad. And I remember it's my mom, I talked to her and then I was able to get over it. But now, moving on to my other rejection, even for my master's degree, now that I had more stuff on my resume, I still got rejected because I was going into a new field because I have done finance and accounting and all that, but now it was more like quant, technical, and I did not have the technical skills because when I started, I didn't know how to program, no Python, no R, no nothing. And I remember, actually, the reason why I'm at the bank right now is because my first semester at my school, I went to that other school career fair. And then when I went to that career fair, I met people there, but I also met some representatives from the bank and they talk about the internship program. And I remember they had 2 internships. There was one for undergrad and one for grad. And there was one, it was quantitative analysis something internship. And at that point, although I didn't have much experience in that thing, but I told myself, listen, I'm doing my master's in quantitative analysis, so I should be able to do this internship, okay? So we talked a little bit, me and that person, and then I went home and applied. Honestly, when I was applying, I did not expect anything. Sometimes you apply for stuff just to be okay with your mind. You can say, you know what, I did my part. I applied. So I just applied and I wasn't even expecting to even get to the first interviews. So I applied, and then after some time, one day I received an email saying that I have to complete an on-demand interview, which I did. And I remember, on that day, I was really pissed because I was like, I'm pretty sure I will do this and I won't get the job.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a waste of time. But anyway, I still prepare because I used to do a lot of preparation, practicing my answers. So, but at some point, I did it. And I was surprised. The following day, I was in my class teaching and I received an email. And I was like, super day, whatever, congrats. I was like, wait, what? So I was really shocked. I was surprised because at that time, I had no technical experience whatsoever. I was taking my first class of Python. But I was like, you know what? I prayed for it. I told God, if this is for me, God. No, actually I told God this. If this is not for me, please don't let me go too far in the process. Because you know when you like something, you don't want to be disappointed. So I was like, listen, God, if this is not for me, don't let me go too far. And so when this happened, now guess what? I was happy. It was Monday and the super day was on Friday that same week. And on that Monday, I had one midterm in finance. Guess what? I was taking my exam in finance and I wasn't focused. I was thinking about, Bank of America, internship. Well, long story short, I failed that exam. But anyway, I was in Charlotte that Friday. And actually it didn't go that well. So I was there and I did my best. I answered the question. But of course, I was lacking those technical skills, obviously. Yeah. And there's one thing I want to say too. Even when you get a job, you may still have good skills, but you'll still be learning stuff too. Now, I'm going to keep going now. So I didn't get the job because, they couldn't ask me very quant question because I told them straight, you know what, I'm learning Python now. I don't know a lot, but I'm learning. I want to learn. And of course, it's good to be willing to learn. But at some point, you have to know that those internships, they are very competitive. People from Harvard, people from UPenn, those kids are there. Yeah. And listen, they have a good background. And so at the end of the day, every firm will pick the best and the brightest mind, which makes sense, right?
Yeah,
if it's your company, you want to pick the best in your company anyway. So I didn't get the job, and that was really hard on me. I remember I went back home from Charlotte, and I kind of knew that maybe I won't get the job because of the vibes, but I was hopeful. And so what happened in the meantime, as I was waiting for the answer, I know some people who got the offers, and I kept applying for jobs because I wasn't sure. And I was applying for other internship. And what happened, one day they called me again to do one more follow-up interview. I did that. It didn't go well. I remember that lady, she asked me a question like, if we have this cube, it's falling, what is the area of this? I was like, wait, what? So I was like, I thought this was to ask me a question about me. But anyway, okay, to make it short, after that time, I didn't get the offer. In the meantime, I got another internship. And since I knew that, I wanted to apply again for the bank, but this time for the full-time program, I didn't really believe that I would get the job, but I told myself, listen, maybe God want me to go there next year again. And that was his way for me to make me, familiar with how things work, how, like the entire process, because I really believe in God. I feel like nothing happened for no reason, so yeah. And and then from there, I did that internship. It was for a financial company, but I knew that since I will be working on stuff there that will be technical, quantitative, I'll use Python and all other stuff. I knew I could use that experience to showcase my skills if I go there the following year.
Yeah.
And from there, I've done that internship for the entire year of 2019. And also, I have to say that even though I was doing that internship, I also was taking some courses on LinkedIn Learning. So I was taking like SQL, like Tableau, Python, R. I was just making sure that I was staying on top of my game,
That's,
all of that. And
yeah, that's great.
and I've done that, and I also did some networking conferences. Sometimes I'll leave school at let's say 6:30 to go to an event at 7 p.m. and I'll go home at 10 p.m. because by the time this event is
Okay.
done, I've talked to people. Now I take the motor to come home. It's 10 or 10:30. But I don't all of that with the only goal that I wanted to get an offer before I finish my my master's degree. Now,
That's
after
good.
that, when the time came, early July, I started applying for jobs. So,
Hmm.
so if you realize when I was applying for the internship, the process went fast for the internship. So in my mind, I'm at the bank. In my mind, for the full time, you go fast too. Oh, that's not how it happened. So I applied end of July, but it took almost 3 months before I got invited to the first one of interview. And that even happened because I went to one of my school career events. Well, guess what? The people that I met at the other career fair the year before, I met them again. And then when we met again, I was like, hey, you
Yeah.
know, my name is Mariam. Last year we met
Yeah.
there and I applied for the internship, but I didn't get there. However, you know, since last year, I've been doing this and that. I work on my skill
Great.
set, you
You have
know.
a story to tell.
You know,
Yeah, I like
right?
that.
So I told them all
Yeah.
of this. And then the guy told me, you know what, okay, give me your resume and I'll check for you with the campus team. Since
That's great.
it has always been 3 months. And that's how, you know, I kept following up with that person until, you know, I finally went back to Charlotte again. But that time
Okay.
I was ready because I like had done so many projects. I've also at my internship too. I've also, you know, it wasn't very structured in a way that I could pick up my own project if I wanted to. So I was
Yeah.
able to do some stuff from that company that helped me also showcase my abilities. And so
That's
so when I
nice.
went to Charlotte this time, you know what? I practiced over 70 behavioral type questions
Wow.
because I
Wow.
knew that I suck at interviews. And there's one thing I want to say too. If you know that you suck at interviews, don't wait to get a job interview to start practicing. Even when you don't have
Yeah.
anything right now, every day, let's say pick 2 questions or 3. I had some papers, you know, with questions, and every day when I was leaving school to come home, I would just pick 1 or 2 questions and I would think about how I could answer them, and I would write down some notes, not the complete answer,
Yeah.
but just notes. And that when it came the time for me to go to Charlotte again, I was ready. Like I practiced a lot. To be honest, there was no question I didn't really anticipate or expect because I knew, you know, I don't know how to explain, but I was like, honestly, I felt good that day. I felt like also one thing I have to say, once I didn't when I didn't get the job, I made sure that I spent time to talk to people who were in that program, you know, to get to know
Yeah.
what they do. I also spent a lot of time on LinkedIn looking at people profile and see what they had. Just, you know, just I wanted to know if there was one specific background the bank was looking for. And so
Yeah.
by looking at all different background, I was able to see that there wasn't like one typical background. You just had to have the quantitative skill set and then, you know, be able to think, I suppose. And yeah, and that also helped me. But like when I went that second time, I knew what job I was applying for. I knew what type of job I could expect. And honestly, I also knew that I had the skill set that
Yeah.
they were looking for. And that made for me a huge difference.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Wow. That's great. That's amazing. So you were able to use that to, you know, I like the fact that, before I go on, I like the fact that you're able to use that, all this your experience, all this your disappointment, challenges you faced to be yourself and not just give up. Because most international students now, they give up and they just like, I'm not going through this route again. I'm going to, you know, go through another route, which sometimes is not always the best route, you understand, which can lead to a lot of complications. But I'm glad you're able to stick to that, and you're able to, at the end of the day, you find yourself in a place where you can grow and where you can, improve yourself on. I don't know if you want to add one or two things more, but I just want you, like, in wrapping up, what would you like advise people? Maybe like what are the few things you will say that maybe I wish I had known, or I wish I had done, things would have been much better?
Yeah. Well, before that, I also want to say that I want people to understand, like, there were times where I felt like giving up. There was actually so many times where I didn't feel good enough. Cause like, there were some of my classmates after the summer internship, they got full-time offer. And me, I was doing like a 1 year internship, and I had no job offer in the air coming soon. So I would say, if you are in that job search process and you probably think that you are alone, no, like there were times where literally I would break down and I would just be like, you know what, I'm doing this of that, look at my resume, like I'm learning this, like I finished, like my life was so like only school and work, and I don't know, yeah, school work. So like I'll finish work and I'll come home, I'll take my laptop and I'll follow that course on LinkedIn Learning. Like there was no time for me to even have fun. And so when I got to that level where a
lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, I felt bad. I felt down. I felt depressed. To be honest, even getting that offer, I was depressed because things didn't go as smoothly as I envisioned them. And so there were a lot of depression into, the job search and everything. But I want to say that you need to have faith. I think for me, I had faith first in God, because I knew that, God has always, helped me in my life, and that no matter what, He would do what's best for me. I wanted to stay in the US, so I was like, God, listen, if your plan is for me to go back home, I want to stay this time. So I think that was the one thing I want to say. Second, you need to have faith in yourself. So you have to understand that not everyone around you is going to believe in you, okay? Like, at some point, maybe you won't have that many friends around you, but it's okay. Like, in life, you are your own person, you are on your own journey, and you are what you believe in. So if you think that you can get that job, then work for it. Talk to people. Do your thing, go meet people even when you're tired. Just go to those conference or whatever. But just know that you can believe whatever you want to believe, okay?
Yeah.
And I just want to say that people need to sometimes take a break. Sometimes you have to just take a break to relax, to recharge. And also tell yourself good words. You need to tell yourself word of affirmation. Let's say, I'm good, I got this, I'm smart, all of that stuff. That also help, your mental health is very important, especially when you're looking for a job. Like, there's one post I put on LinkedIn that say, if you're not humble, job search will humble you. But that's true though, because it makes you, go talk to people. It makes you go do a lot of stuff. So I think I want to end here to say that a job doesn't define you, and that you can do anything you set your mind to. You got this.
I like that. And I like the fact that people think that word of affirmations are not something you should, like, they feel like it doesn't do much. But I tell you, it creates some sort of environment, some sort of vibe, mood that will help you to, pursue and do things beyond your imagination, because it creates a mood that you can actually do a lot of things. And I tell you sincerely, those words of affirmation are really helpful. They are really helpful. And I was reading something this morning, and it was talking about speaking positive, thinking positive too. Not just speaking it, but thinking, imagining you getting a job, imagining you getting multiple offers. Just imagine. So I'm not saying that, okay, you have to imagine, yes, but you still have to do the work. You have to do the work. So we're not just doing motivation speaker. You have to do the work, because some of us just spend countless nights, trying to prepare ourselves for the lives that for the future, basically. So I can remember me one trying to get my job, different form of preparations and stuff like that to ensure that I got the job, and definitely God is the biggest factor. So continue to stay focused, continue to pray, continue to trust God that God has a great plan for you, and everything will work according to God's plan.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Mariam, for coming on to this episode. I really appreciate your time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am very sure people really found this episode, that the information you're sharing, helpful to them, helpful to their journey, for them to make a better decision. If you guys still want to reach out to Mariam, you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. Just type in Mariam Fofana, and you will see LinkedIn, and I can post a link, URL to our LinkedIn profile, so that you guys can connect with her more, and have continue on the conversation. Thank you once again, Mariam. I really appreciate
you're welcome. It was my pleasure. I'm very honored to, for your invitation to have been with you and to have discussed this with you. And I really enjoyed it. Thank you for inviting me here.
Yeah, I'm glad. So, guys, on to another episode. Like, we see you guys, and I'm sure that guys, you're having a fantastic holiday already, as we try to end the year. Be safe, and see you next time. Take care.